Adult World from 2013 stars Emma Roberts as a young wannabe poet who takes a part-time job at an adult novelty shop to support herself when her parents cut off her financial lifeline after she graduates college. The film is not as subversive as I feared, but also not as substantive as I'd hoped. Emma Roberts is truly grating as the dopey loser Amy, who clings on to low-life poet Rat Billings, played by John Cusack. Their hostile friendship was the highlight of the film for me, because it is the means for Amy's eventual character development, minor though it may be. Many people, however, check this film out for the charming performance by Evan Peters as the coworker and eventual love interest of our main character. It was quite funny at times and held up enough by the cast to make it worth a one-time watch, but it is not Emma Roberts' best work by a long shot. Kate from 2021 is a movie made just for me. In previous weeks, I have watched a few Yakuza Hitman action dramas like Son Above, Death Below, and A Cult Is My Passport. Though I love these movies, every time I watch one I think, I wish I could watch a movie like this, but with Mary Elizabeth Winstead as the hitman. I don't know how I didn't know about this movie until now, but I absolutely loved it. Winstead, as Kate, botches a hit after being poisoned and has to use a Yakuza boss's daughter, Ani, as leverage to bring her target back out into the open. Naturally, they become an odd couple as they adventure through Tokyo for the rest of the movie. This flick is colorful, flashy, and violent without being overstimulating. Supporting cast includes Woody Harrelson and the legendary Jun Kunimura. I have almost no complaints about this movie, but I knocked a half star off for some firearm stuff that irked me, but I'm a nerd that way. This movie rules. In Ash from 2025, Eiza Gonzalez stars as a member of a space exploration team seeking to colonize a new planet. We're thrown into the film from her point of view after some kind of disaster has happened on the station, leaving the rest of her crew dead or missing. As far as sci-fi horror goes, I've seen this movie heavily criticized for being derivative of some of the classics of the genre, but that didn't stop me from enjoying this one thoroughly. As usual, I am also willing to accept that I may have been dazzled by Eiza Gonzalez looking exceptionally hot for the entire movie, but she wasn't the only eye candy in the film. Like Mandy, which I reviewed a few episodes back, this movie leans hard into the use of color to create a vibrant, trippy atmosphere. Sure, it may tread some familiar ground, but that isn't inherently a bad thing. It's definitely worth checking out for fans of sci-fi horror. The 2002 version of Carrie is a TV movie that apparently was also the potential pilot for a Carrie TV series that didn't happen. I reviewed Brian De Palma's 1976 version of Carrie in my previous video if you want to check that out. I watched this movie solely for the great Angela Bettis in the titular role, who apparently was not a huge fan of the idea of a remake, but I came away liking a lot about this movie. This film was made closer to when I was in high school, and unlike the 1976 version, most of the actors look young enough to be high school students, Bettis being 28 at the time notwithstanding. Speaking of the cast, I thought most of the non-Carrie characters were better in this movie than the 1976 version, especially Rena Sofer as the gym teacher and Tobias Mailer as Tommy, who was so exceedingly likable and charming in this version that I wanted him to take me to the prom. In the end, I gave both versions of Carrie 2.5 stars because they both have some real strengths but also some real issues. If you're wondering, I do plan to check out the 2013 version as well as The Rage Carrie 2 in the future. Host from 2020 is a movie that already seems dated, thankfully, and I hope some of the behaviors in this film will be looked upon by future generations with utter confusion. A group of friends in lockdown during the pandemic gather on a Zoom call to hold a seance, and as you can imagine, that was not the best idea. I loved Rob Savage's other pandemic horror movie, Dashcam, so I have been excited to check this one out. It mostly succeeds as a screen life movie, despite a few moments that had me asking, is she just carrying her laptop around? Or in other words, there were some shots that I'm not sure how they were supposed to have been achieved in the context of the story. Having said all that, this is one of the better Screen Life movies I have seen, with some serious thrills and scares. Clocking in at just under an hour, it is definitely worth checking out if you are a fan of Screen Life or just found footage movies in general. Mr. Lonely is a Harmony Korine film from 2017 about a Michael Jackson impersonator who befriends a Marilyn Monroe impersonator who invites him to join a commune filled with various other celebrity impersonators, including my favorite, the foul-mouthed Abraham Lincoln. My love-hate fandom of Harmony Korine grows with every one of his films that I see. It's amazing to think that Gummo, Spring Breakers, Baby Invasion, and a film like this could all come from the same creative mind. This film touches on some heavy themes, including identity and faith, but I found myself drifting through this movie rather than latching onto any of the characters or ideas here. There are beautiful and moving moments of gratitude and kindness, but also an underlying mean spirit that at this point I believe is a signature of Korine's work. I don't think I'll ever want to watch this again, and I'm not sure who to recommend it to unless you like highly quirky and surreal films or just want to come way out of your comfort zone. Drive Away Dolls is Ethan Coen's first solo fictional film, which follows two friends on a road trip who are unknowingly transporting a very important MacGuffin, and some dangerous individuals are tracking them down in order to retrieve said MacGuffin. I'll keep this short because I feel bad about not turning this movie off within the first 5 minutes due to the extreme unlikability of our two main characters and also some very explicit sex scenes early on. I decided to stick with it, hoping it would get better. It didn't, and in short, it completely lacked any semblance of likability from any of the characters and was about as cynical and contemptuous toward its audience as you can possibly imagine. And let's not even get into Margaret Qualley's accent. Brahms, The Boy 2 is the sequel to The Boy, which I reviewed in a previous episode. This time around, we have Katie Holmes in the lead, and after a home invasion that leaves her and her son traumatized, her husband suggests a getaway to the country where they rent the house from the first movie. One of the things I loved about the first movie was that it could be read as having no supernatural elements, and that made it special because it wasn't just another possessed doll movie. In The Boy 2, they throw that out and show the doll moving on its own pretty early on. This is a head-scratching decision considering both movies have the same writer and director who did so well avoiding certain tropes in the first film. Having said all that, I still got a lot of enjoyment out of this one, and while that was largely due to me being a huge Katie Holmes fan, I am still bought into the series and I look forward to whatever comes next in the Boy extended cinematic universe. Maybe The Boy 3, Brahms and Me. Uncut Gems is the second Safdie Brothers movie I've seen after Good Time, which I really enjoyed. This one stars Adam Sandler as Howard, a jewelry dealer who is constantly scheming, lying, and conniving to get what he wants. He doesn't know the meaning of quit while you're ahead. The general consensus about Good Time and Uncut Gems is that they are stressful movies, but they do not have that effect on me. And even more than Good Time, I found this movie to be hilarious. I enjoyed watching Howard dig himself deeper and deeper into a hole as the movie went on. Though I think I prefer Good Time, I'm glad I finally had a chance to check out this one, and I'm looking forward to whatever the Safdies do next. And that brings us to the end of the video. I appreciate you watching the whole thing, and I'll see you on the next one.